Not even the names have been changed. I think Shandy's back in town now, too. I wonder if he remembers that. I'm sure he remembers that. You don't go through the process of in a box and then take it to the post office. Them asking you, is there anything dangerous in this box? And you're like, well, not dangerous, but
So if there's one thing that Nishant and I love, it's to cook. We love food a lot. So let me ask you this. What would be the best whiskey to cook with?
Dude, I would go Chicken Cock. It is a brand. It is, I believe, under the Heaven Hill. Let me check real quick. I think it might be under the Heaven Hill umbrella now, which, by the way, if you're Googling this name, make sure you put whiskey at the end of it, just so you don't get thrown away.
What's the weirdest combination you've seen people do with whiskey?
Well, when it comes to making whiskey, it's your true mad scientists are the ones that just love it. And they love it for the art. They love it for the science, because that's what it is. Whiskey is art. It is a culmination of man and nature, where nature provides all of the ingredients and man puts it together in a way that he's trying to capture a flavor that comes from nature. So if you do it wrong, that's man. If you do it right, that's nature, and that's art.
Yes. Okay. So we had a bit of a debacle with the daylight savings time, and Nishant being overseas, he didn't know how that worked exactly. And our special guest here being on the East Coast. You're on the East Coast, right?
That's right.
Yeah, being on the East Coast, Nishant didn't know how to, figure that out with me being in Central Time. But we're here now. We figured it out. And our lovely guest here today was so patient enough to work through that little timing conflict. So we appreciate that. Mr. Jesse Jones.
Hey, man. Happy to be here, guys.
Yes.
Hey, I don't think anybody knows how daylight savings times works. Yeah. I think it's universal. So everybody gets confused.
Yes, right, man. And you got quite the wall behind you. So tell us about that.
Oh man, that is the you know how the hustle works. It's never stop. I do comedy at nighttime. I talk whiskey during the day. I also host the Bourbon Showdown. It is a whiskey show dedicated to spreading the good word of good whiskey. Let's see. I think we have been Uprock's named us one of the top 20 whiskey podcasts in the industry. So,
wow,
yeah, okay. Slinging drinks, baby.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Wow, thank you so much for joining us. We are so honored, privileged, blessed that you gave us your time and the sit down, right, to have this conversation. And this is so great. You're a busy guy, right? I mean, I'm sure you're on the road a lot.
I'm on the road all the time. I think we've been trying to do this for a minute. I've just been touring a lot lately. So I'm home today. I take back off in the morning, and then I'm back at it. Just going across the East Coast right now, up and down, talking whiskey during the day, and then doing shows at nighttime. It's a solid gig.
That's cool. And so you've been doing comedy for much longer than you've had the podcast, I'd imagine, right?
Oh yeah, the podcast came directly out of the pandemic, where the club shut down and you couldn't work, and I get a bottle in the mail from Old Forester. Right? No, I don't even think it was a bottle. I think they sent me like a shirt and some socks. And I said to my wife, I was like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Why are they sending me shirts and socks? And she said, you must have said something about whiskey that they liked. And I had some bit about whiskey in my act. And then I kind of went down that rabbit hole and realized there were a lot of people like me that loved whiskey but didn't know maybe a lot about it. And when you go online, it can get very nasty very quick, right? And all I found were like 4 dudes sitting around talking about how much they disliked something. And I was like, well, you can't learn about anything from those 4, angry people. So I started the show to kind of go on an educational journey with the audience. And at this point, I've talked to about everybody in the industry. You're from Missouri. There's a delicious whiskey out of Missouri called Holiday, and the master distiller from Holiday, he was a fantastic episode where we got to talk through standing up a whiskey endeavor outside of Kentucky, outside of Tennessee, outside of the places that people identify with whiskey. And it was just a fantastic conversation. So you get to meet a lot of good people. And then while I'm on the road for comedy, I do whiskey tastings during the day, and people can see me twice. They can come drink some whiskey with me in the afternoon and then come back, drink some water, eat some food, sober up, and then come see a show at nighttime. Double dipping.
Cool. Yeah, double dipping. Getting that 2-item minimum.
That's right. That's right.
At the comedy show where they
get paid twice.
Right. That's cool. What do you wow, I mean, like, there's so many questions I could ask.
So, like, being okay, so me and Rana, we both don't drink, right?
Okay.
So for someone like us, like, what's the difference between a whiskey and a beer or maybe a wine, like, you know?
Well, it all goes back to your core grains, right?
Okay.
Beer is actually the starting point of a whiskey, as you're going to have your distiller's beer before you go into your the fermentation process will start with that beer, and then from there it will go on to become whiskey. So your beer is going to be like an IPA. You've got your hops and your various, it could be a lager, it can be an IPA, it can be a stout, like the various grains that go in to make it what it will be. The same with whiskey. It generally, for it to be bourbon, American bourbon, it's got to be at least 51% corn, but that isn't to say that it's not whiskey. If it's not, as long as it's gone through specific distillation process, it can still be whiskey. It just may not be bourbon. Like Scotch is malted barley, and wine is grapes. Wine goes through a fermentation process, but it's grapes versus corn and rye and malted barley and wheat and some of the other ingredients they use for making whiskey. So yeah, it just really depends. Anything, like all the way back, you can go mead. Mead is fermented honey. Since people have been making things to drink, they have been trying to get messed up on the things that they're making to drink. It's they work both ways.
Wow.
Have you ever tried Indian whiskey?
Yes, there's actually Amrut. A friend of mine at Bardstown Bourbon Company, they do collaborations. I'm twofold actually. I know the distributor for Amrut, and I'm actually supposed to talk to the founder of that company in an upcoming season, where I've now talked to everybody in America. I'm going international. I'm going to be talking to master distillers from Ireland, from, of course, Scotland, from India, from Japan, from New Zealand. Like the beauty of distillation and the beauty of spirits as a whole is that it brings people together. I try to distance people from that memory they may have in college where they were just drinking handles of the cheapest whiskey they could find to black out. That's not the purpose of good whiskey. Good whiskey should be to experience something with people, same as fine wine. Like the purpose of fine wine is not to imbibe, is not to drink, but to imbibe. So enjoy the people that you're with, enjoy the thing that you're drinking, do it responsibly, of course. And that's what I bring when I talk whiskey. I want any of you, if you're not drinking, I'd love to drink with you and walk you through what you're getting, because your palate's going to be very different than mine. You're going to get flavor notes that I'm not going to get because you're tasting it for the first time, and I'm tasting it for what the 9,878th time.
Yeah.
So there's always room for growth on both sides, and I always try to convey a message of acceptance when you're drinking. Like people can get really in their head if they're drinking with somebody that they assume is a connoisseur, and they'll be quiet, and quiet doesn't make conversation, right? Like if we're talking about whiskey, I want to hear what you're tasting. I want to hear what you think about it. If you dislike it, I'd really like to know why. Everybody's got different reasons for how they approach new spirits. And I think that's very interesting. And that is some of the things we talk about. And we've also had everybody, like we've had Eric Bischoff from wrestling. We've had Ron White from my comedy background. We've had the Broken Lizard guys from Super Troopers. I think we're going to have, I shouldn't guess at his name right now. We've got somebody from NASCAR coming on soon. There's all sorts of, the beauty of whiskey is everybody likes it. So I've had a bunch, like the dude that caught the Golden State Killer, the true crime, the guy that literally was responsible for catching one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. He loves whiskey. So he came on. I talked pours. He talked gore. It was fine. It was a lot of fun. You don't know who it's, you never know where it's going to take you. I think it's been a wonderful industry outside of my own to be a part of, just because the people are so welcoming and everybody wants to just enjoy it and have a good time.
So like, how do you run this podcast? Like, is it online or is it offline?
Oh yeah, we do. We've got videos on YouTube. We just started that. It was interesting when we first started back in 2021. It was, everybody was still in pandemic land, and we started with both video and audio, and we noticed that they were getting cut in half. Like half the audience was going, because at that point, you know, everybody's home. Everybody, I guess, had chosen which medium they wanted to experience, and we were kind of cannibalizing ourselves. So we started off in the podcast realm because that's where the numbers were strongest. And not soon after that, Uprocks named us one of the, because with the comedy background, if you guys can't tell, I like to talk. So the whiskey, there's a lot of master distillers in whiskey that are fantastic, wonderful, smarter than I'll ever hope to be. But when you get them talking, they can be very exciting. The thing about whiskey is that whiskey. Well, hey, if that's the way whiskey is, then blah, 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 blah. I'll keep it going. I'll keep it moving.
Right.
So
that's good.
I think that's where it kind of, the comedy and the whiskey comes together.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's cool. I think that's certainly one of my favorite things about comics, just being able to be phenomenal conversationalists and great public speakers. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a good. I feel like that's one of those skills that kind of come with the trade. Not for all comics, obviously. You got some, dry comics out there that are not good at doing either one of those things, or the inverse effect where they make the stage their release and they actually like real, quiet.
That's right. All of our childhood trauma comes out in adult humor.
Right. That's funny. So
narcissism, but if Ghostbusters were catching narcissism instead of ghosts.
Hey, Nishant, have you heard about iCover Direct?
No, what's that?
Of course you have, you silly. We work for the company. If you want life insurance in as quick as 5 minutes with no agents, no medical exams, check out iCoverDirect.com. That's iCoverDirect.com, and go through the application process just to see what your quote looks like, what your monthly premium looks like. It doesn't take long at all, truly. I mean, the amount of times that I've gone through it just to, see what it looks like, to remind myself, or literally to remind myself how wonderful and quick the process is. I do it. I've done it so many times, and it's so simple, so quick, so easy. I still have a hard time believing it to this day. It doesn't have to be hard. You don't need anybody's help. But if you do need help, you could reach out to us via the phone number that you'll see in the application process, or via email, or literally just reach out to Nishant and I, however which way, whether it's email, LinkedIn, find our personal socials. It's not that hard. And yeah, Nishant?
And trust me, it's 2026. Getting a life insurance policy for your family is the best gift you can give them this year. So trust me, you don't even have to leave your house. All you need is your mobile phone or your computer, right? Go to iCoverDirect.com. No medical exams, no documents. You can ignore everything, right? All you have to do is answer a few personal questions, a few medical questions, and that's it. That's it. In less than 5 minutes, you can secure your family.
What is like perhaps a favorite whiskey brand of yours, or I know that's probably a hard question to answer just because of the.
No, I like to answer it honestly. It really depends on, just like a fine wine. It depends on the mood that you're in, right? Like there is no one answer to that. Like today, I'm going through a huge Found North kick right now. They just released their new Peregrine, which is a culmination. It's a blend of 20 to 27-year-old whiskey, and sourced out of Canada, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. They have taken everything from 20-year corn to 27-year, like the way these guys blend is so unique to me, and it's just mind-blowing how well they have done it. They've taken these separate ingredients, they've blended them together, they've taken an age profile that should be so oaky that you can't enjoy it. The Scotch can go forever because Scotch's ingredients and the climate that Scotch lives in lends itself to a slower maturation process. So if a colder climate is going to mature less rapidly, and with whiskey, a lot of it, stems from the warmer regions where 4 climates. You want the wood to play a part in the aging, right? So every time the wood expands and contracts, it is breathing that liquid. And that liquid breathing in and out of the wood is what gives you your flavor. Of course, the ingredients play a role in it, but the big thing outside of your mash bill is your barrel. So when you're doing that and you want it to breathe in and out, a lot of places, the older it gets, the more it's breathing that wood, the oakier it gets. And for some folks, the oakier it gets, the less taste they like of the oak. So it is rare that you see older bourbons. But now, since we really hit the boom in the mid 2010s, you're seeing people be more open to different profiles. And the beauty of Found North is the way they put it together is so freaking masterfully done that they're putting together this thing that's just volumatic and flavor forward, and it's not too oaky. It's almost that perfect combination of fruit and oak. And I don't work for them. I promise you, I don't work for them. Despite how much this might sound like a commercial for Found North, which you can find at foundnorthwhiskey.com. But, no, but they are good guys, and I respect hustle, and they're putting the hustle in to create some good product.
Well, I hope they sponsor you one day.
They're good dudes. I would be fine with just their friendship and being able to hang out with them. And whenever we get together, it's always a damn good time when I hang out with the boys at Found North. So
That's cool.
I honestly find that if I was to be like all of my sponsorships comes from people that I have nothing to do with, if that makes sense. I never want to be seen as biased. I never want to be seen as, oh, well, this show is brought to you by the people that have been on the show. So I feel like it would take some of the validity out of what I'm saying. Believe it or not, I get hate mail. I get hate mail from the show, which is super interesting because people will be like, why do you like everything? That's the big one that I get. Why do you like everything? I'm like, dude, why would I invite somebody that has put 25 years of their life into making something as good as it could possibly be just to dump on them? Like why would I do that? What benefit would that be to the industry? What benefit would that be to me? What benefit would that be to the brand? If I was like, here's a thing, I hated it. Well, let's talk to Johnny Succo over here and see if he can explain to me why this awful thing is as bad as it is. Why would I do that? That's awful. That's not how you operate, you know?
Right.
If you want to know who I don't like, all you have to look at, and I'm not even going to say, first off, I never say I don't like anything. When people say that they don't like something, I stop them and tell them, wait, you didn't like it today. Just because it wasn't my cup of tea on a Friday, it doesn't mean that tomorrow I might not wake up and be like, holy crap, I love this particular, I wasn't in the mood for it yesterday, I'm in the mood for it tomorrow. So never say that you dislike anything. If there's something that's not my cup of tea, then there's nothing wrong with that either. I know my palate at this point, but I'll never turn down anything, because the more you taste, the broader your palate gets. And that's how you grow. You grow by trying. And that's in every walk of life, not just whiskey. If you want to get better at something, you can't just confine yourself to one stream. You can't confine yourself to a siloed mindset, because if you do, you're going to stay right where you are, and you're never going to get any better at it.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you guys I like to talk.
I didn't know you was going to bring a philosophical angle to that. That's
Dude, whiskey takes you there.
That's cool. That's cool.
When
You can really turn anything philosophical if you go deep enough into it. Like bologna. A bologna sandwich is a metaphor for life, guys. You've got the bread. That's the first layer that you got to get through to get to the goodness. After you put the work in to get through the bread, then you're going to get to that bologna. That's what you were looking for the whole time. But then, like any good experience, like a Scorsese film, after you get through that bologna, there's another piece of bread on the other side, because there's a top, there's a middle, there's an end. And that end can sometimes be the bottom. It really just depends on how full you are, my friends.
Yo, that's good, man. That's good. Wow. So if there's one thing that Nishant and I love, it's to cook. It's food. We love food a lot. So let me ask you this: what would be the best whiskey to cook with?
Dude, I would go Chicken Cock. It is a brand. It is, I believe, under the Heaven Hill. Let me check real quick. I think it might be under the Heaven Hill umbrella now. Which, by the way, if you're Googling this name, make sure you put whiskey at the end of it, just so you don't get thrown away. So there is a Chicken Cock whiskey that is, they finished it in rum barrels, right? And it is so beautifully crafted. And the rum barrel that they have let it finish in is so prevalent in the, and actually this is a $250 bottle of whiskey. So how about you drink the whiskey that's been finished in the beautiful rum, and go get yourself a bottle of regular dark spiced rum, right? And then make yourself a Bananas Foster. And you'll make the Bananas Foster, dude, it's going to blow your mind. You take brown sugar and butter and bananas. You're going to let the brown sugar and butter turn into a caramel before you put the bananas in. You're going to cook the bananas until they're almost, they're still al dente. They're still a little hard. And then you're going to mix in your rum, and then you're going to set it on fire. And when you set it on fire, it is going to add that added layer of flavor that is going to put the Bananas Foster over the top. And then you can eat it over ice cream. I personally like eating it over French toast. That's right. That's how you work rum into your morning routine without anybody making you go to a meeting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Well,
like
Gordon Ramsay will fail in front of this man.
Hey, and if you want to have it after a meal, you can go get some Jim Beam. You can create a nice bourbon glaze for a piece of salmon. Take about half a cup of Jim Beam, half a cup of soy sauce, fourth a cup of brown sugar. Mix all that up with some garlic and some parsley. Put it on your fish. I need to do a cooking show, guys. I didn't know I knew 2 recipes. That would be the whole show, though. The whole show would be one episode of me walking them through the 2 things I know how to make. Whiskey.
Yeah, that could be like a segment, where it's like, yo, what can you cook with this? You could like ask people,
cook with booze.
Yeah.
Boozy chef.
Yeah.
I'm sure that already exists. That has to already exist.
Yo.
What's the weirdest combination you've seen people with whiskey?
Ooh, the weirdest combination in terms of a cocktail, or the weirdest combination in terms of how it got made?
How it got made, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when it comes to making whiskey, it's your true mad scientists are the ones that just love it. And they love it for the art. They love it for the science, because that's what it is. Whiskey is art. It is a culmination of man and nature, where nature provides all of the ingredients, and man puts it together in a way that he's trying to capture a flavor that comes from nature. So if you do it wrong, that's man. If you do it right, that's nature and that's art. So having I've tasted a bunch of crazy whiskeys. I think one of my favorites was Spirits of French Lick, the mad scientist Alan Bishop. He sent me a bottle of absinthe. And absinthe, of course, from way back in the day, derived from opium, and or had opium in it. Anytime you Google the Green Fairy, you don't have to put alcohol after that. The Green Fairy should bring up exactly what absinthe is. I'm not an absinthe expert, so if I've gotten how they make it wrong, that's on me. But after he made his absinthe, and there wasn't opium in it. Let's go there as well. It was modern absinthe. I was not doing opium with my buddy Alan. I don't think. So he makes the absinthe and he finishes it in bourbon barrels, and then he sends it to me. And I'm sitting there and I'm drinking it with him. And I text my wife. We're doing an episode of the show, and she's watching from the other camera. And I text her and I'm like, "Hey, honey, is my mouth getting bigger?" And she's like, "I don't think, no, at all." She's like, Are my eyes getting bigger?" And she's like, "No, your eyes are not getting bigger. I am tripping off this absinthe, guys. I'm on air. I'm talking to Alan, and I'm just sitting there looking at my hands. Luckily, he loves 90s wrestling as much as I do, so we were able to go through the NWO storyline while I calmed my down and got my head back where it needed to be."
Wow, man. Wow, man. That's funny. No, I love that. So you mentioned wrestling. I'm actually a part of another podcast called HCW Heat with my buddy Josh, one of my best friends, Josh. So
I love that.
He loves wrestling so much, and Nishant's also a huge fan of wrestling too, actually. So that's really cool. How'd you feel about John Cena's retirement match?
I had zero problem with Gunther tapping him out or making him quit. What is the best way to get somebody else over the dude that never says quit? Make him quit. I thought that was ballet. I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was weird that they didn't do it at Mania until I saw an interview with Cena, and Cena said that the reason he chose December is that December is typically a slow month for the business, and he wanted to pop the number for the business. He said doing Mania would have been selfish because Mania is already going to draw a huge gate. But if he could pop a number for an off night, then that would be giving back, and that was what he wanted to do. And I thought that was, whether that was PR or whether that's how he actually felt, I thought that was true to the character of Cena. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, the only negative I would say is I think they've painted Gunther in a corner now, because you remember when Randy Orton was the legend killer. Mm-hmm. You could kill legends and then they could still perform after that. Like he didn't retire the legends. He RKO'd Jake the Snake Roberts, and Jake the Snake Roberts was still on TV after that. So by making him a career killer, I feel like everybody he steps in the ring with, it's almost pigeonholed him to the point where, oh, he just beat up Dragon Lee. Does that mean Dragon Lee's retired now? Like you know what I mean? Yeah. They're going to have to end that at some point, or else every person he faces, the expectation will be the ring general is the career killer.
Right. That's true, because now he did AJ Styles too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Wow. Do you have like a top 5 or like a Mount Rushmore of wrestlers that you, because you mentioned
I feel like every generation probably has their Mount Rushmore of wrestling. I'm an old school guy, so I'd probably put Flair on it, Austin on it, Rocky on it. I mean, you can't not put Hogan on it. I know people leave Hogan off of it. I think it's the cool thing to do to leave Hogan off of it, but I don't think you would have seen it take over the world the way it has without Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like, you might not like Babe Ruth, but you got to admit that he was a ball player.
Right.
And Hogan might not have been your cup of tea, but you can't say that Hogan did not take over the world and be the focal point of wrestling for an entire decade of people that didn't have cable. Like he was a star in the world while it was still small. Think about that.
Right.
Like they had three choices: ABC, NBC, CBS, and Hogan made a name for himself in that era of media and showmanship, and it's something to be said for that. So
that's the one thing that I hate about cancel culture. I think like it strips away the objectivity, or rather the kind of like looking at something as definitive as it should be looked at, rather than kind of putting emotion into it, right? So how do you feel about that, kind of like the way I guess humans behave nowadays?
Well, and also it looks like absinthe is not made with opium. So apologies to anybody writing opium hate mail right now. It was originally an 18th century Switzerland medical elixir. Absinthe was made by distilling high-proof alcohol, usually grape spirit, with herbs and primarily the holy trinity of wormwood, green anise, and fennel. Okay, there you go. I learned something today.
Hey.
To answer your question about cancel culture, I think cancel culture can be attributed back to our need for immediacy in this day and age of social media. Like it's not enough that we get and this is historically across the board. You see people in the public hemisphere, you like to see them come up. It's wrestling. You like to see the good guy chase the title. You want to see him come up. Once he gets there, oh, look at that arrogant champion. He thinks he's better than us. How do we tear him? Okay, we're tired of him being champion. Now we got to tear him back down. What do you like more than seeing the guy win? There's also that sick side of humanity that wants to see him lose. Yeah. So if you're looking, and media, they don't care. Media wants you to think that they care. Media doesn't care. Media wants the bottom line. The bottom line is the money. And they know that there's just as many eyes on inspiration as there are a car crash. So why pick? They've got 24 hours of frickin' cycle to get through. We can have both. We'll start with inspiration, go to aspiration, end with damnation, and we'll do it all again tomorrow.
Wow.
All while eating that bologna sandwich.
Right. Yeah, no, you're seeing, I think the most recent case of that, which perfectly describes that cycle that you were talking about, is Timothy Chalamet, right? He makes the comment about ballet and Africa.
So I think that's a sweet one, right? Because that was obviously PR in its worst form, where whoever does not want Mr. Chalamet to win the Oscar, they weaponized a pretty innocent quote. Now, was it poor timing on his part? Yeah. If you're going to take a dig at opera and ballet, which first off, there's nothing that makes you sound more American than to take a dig at two of the most classically beloved art forms of human existence. You know what I mean? Like guess what they were doing before you could just stare at your phone all day? They were learning how to dance on their tiptoes. Try it. People that like to sit down. I guarantee you can't stand on the tip of your tippy toe and then twirl around in a way that is not me falling down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he just made a mistake. He said something that he, as a 30-year-old, probably was like, yeah, I don't do a good Timothy Chalamet. I don't think Timothy Chalamet has a voice. He's got actor voice. Like you see him in a role, he's playing a different voice. Then you see him in an interview, and he just kind of sounds like any other dude you've ever heard ever. So he said something wrong. They don't want him to. Somebody that wants their guy to win the Oscar don't want him to win the Oscar. So they put out a viral meme They put out money behind it to make sure that the right people see it. They put it in the pocket of the media contacts that they have a good relationship with. I guarantee you, whoever they want to win the Oscar, they would love to see that guy on their media program at some point. So they threaten that if you don't put this point of view out there, then you're never going to get my client on your show ever again. The client doesn't know. The dude that's going to end up winning the Oscar, he doesn't know that those were the PR strings being pulled behind the scene, but that's how it works. And it's naive to think that that's not how it works. That's not a cynical viewpoint. That is the reality of people treating every scenario like a chess match. If you have interest in the game, you're going to move your pieces in a way that helps you win. The problem is when human beings forget that there are other human beings playing the game, and then you kind of shoot yourself in the proverbial foot and do things that are nasty or do things that by indirect consequence hurt someone else. And at that point, you're just being
Wow.
eloquent, ended it with crass.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
Human nature.
That's how that's what makes the most sense to both of us, honestly. So thanks for translating it to us like that. But you gave a lot of insight that I feel like wow, that's insight that I don't think I would have thought of otherwise. I don't think I could have came to that conclusion on my own. So you know quite a bit about showbiz, it seems like.
Well, I mean, I've been tiptoeing around it for the past 15 years, you know. I remember way back when I was supposed to be. Do you remember the old MTV show Girl Code?
Yes.
I was supposed to be on Girl Code, and they what was it? They this summarizes the business pretty well, I think. And I know the dude that created that show. He's a good dude. This isn't a knock on him. This isn't me protecting my ass either. I don't give a shit. The beauty of where I am in the cycle, I can say whatever I want to. What are they going to do? Keep me from doing my show? No, they're not. So I obviously I got some of that salt and pepper, right? I got my salt and pepper steppers. They're on my head, not my feet. And I told them, I was like, guys, I got gray hair. Does that matter? And they were like, no, doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. Come in tomorrow, 5 a.m. We'll get you started and we'll do our day. I get there and I sit all day and they pay me and they send me home. And then I find out it's because I had gray hair. And I was like, well, guys, the solve of that problem would have been when I asked you if it was a problem, say yes. And then you had me sit there all day. You could have dyed it at 5 a.m. and it would have been ready for camera by 10. It'd have been ready for camera by 5:15. Right. But again, you know, don't let common sense get in the way of a problem.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
That sounds bitter. It's not bitter. It's just illustrating the point of not everything makes sense, and it doesn't really matter. It's going to move forward whether you're with it or not.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Are you currently in New York?
I left New York about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I was in New York for about 15 years, and then it's crazy to think I've already been gone 10 years. And then, you know, I was doing stand-up all over the city, and you're making you're getting your master's in comedy is what I like to say. And then once you get your master's, you go off and you make your money on the road. So that's what I do now. I travel, I work the road, I do the whiskey show, and those two things combined are just, if I could, and we talked wrestling. I've called wrestling matches before. That was a lot of fun. The just being a part of that carnival is absolutely nuts. Sitting in the back, and it's like you've heard in interviews before. Like I knew a buddy, he was a local wrestler in Charlotte, and go around, shake hands, introduce yourself, do the things that you're supposed to do. And I think my favorite part about the whole thing, I did it a few times, and they're doing a hardcore match, right? And they're planning this hardcore match out. And I'm sitting there, and I've been around a minute or two now, so they all at least know. They don't know me, but they know I'm supposed to be there, kind of thing. And they're planning out this hardcore match, and this dude had a toaster, and he's like, what if I just hit him with the toaster? And they're like, yeah, hit him with the toaster. And, I very humbly, because I absolutely adore wrestling, and I would never want them to think that I'm doing anything other than trying to help. Like, I love wrestling. And I humbly raised my hand, and I was like, hey, what if you wrap the wire around your fist and to where you're holding the toaster like brass knuckles, and then you hit him like that. And when you hit him, you keep your thumb on the dial, so that right when it hits him in the head, you pop it and toast goes into the crowd. That popped the boys in the back so freaking hard that this guy got super excited, and he was like, can you do that? Can we make that? Is that a thing? Can you go get me toast? And I was like, yeah, I will go get you toast. And sure enough, I got him toast. He hit the spot. Toast went into the crowd. Everybody, the whole crowd popped. And then as it's still wrestling, his thank you to me, because they had me there because it was a live show. They give me a live mic, and I'm doing commentary in real time while they wrestle. So his payment to me, his thank you, was I was saying something that he didn't like after the match, and he comes up and he picks me up by the throat. Like this is I'm a one man. I don't weigh $105. I weigh what a 6'1" man weighs. And this behemoth of a human picks me up by the neck. And and he's just like kind of winking at me like, thanks for the toaster bit. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. Put me down. Good thing I was wearing yellow pants.
Oh man. What does the average day in the life of yours look like?
I mean, honestly, it's a workflow, right? Like in any small business owner, because that's what this is. Comedy is a fun business, but it's still a business. So it's very easy to let the fun part of it be your focus. But we've talked a lot about wrestling. Just like wrestling, a wrestler will tell you the wrestling match itself is 15 minutes of their day. It's 30 minutes of their day. The rest of the time is travel. It is preparing. It is the gym. It is getting everything ready for that 15 minutes. So for me, the rest of the day is getting ready for the show. I got to make sure that I've got new material. I've got to make sure that my travel is set up correctly. I got to make sure that on top of that, I've got all of the same problems for whiskey that I do for comedy. So when it lines up, it's great. But sometimes I'm doing an interview with somebody in the condo of the club that has me for the week. And then I go straight from interviewing them to doing a show. I got to be careful about my voice. If I talk for an hour, I don't have a show tonight. So you guys can have me as long as you want me. But tomorrow, if I had a show, tomorrow I'm going to be in Virginia. So if I had an interview, that interview could be 45 to an hour. I don't want to go longer than that. I don't want to talk out the instrument before I get to the stage. So a daily day may sound fun, but it's just like anybody that works at any job. You're going to work at that job, and you're going to continue doing the things that you have in place to excel at that job, so that you can do what you need to do and make the money and get the satisfaction and fulfillment from it that you hope you can get.
Man, I think I'm going to have to get my weight down. I'm going to have to start running again. I'm going to have to get my fitness back up and get my health right, because I want to make sure that my monthly premium is low when I start paying for this life insurance policy. Go ahead and get yourself a life insurance policy on iCoverDirect.com. You can get one in as quick as 5 minutes. No medical exams, no agent's involvement at all. Just you, a stable internet connection, your phone or your laptop, a few questions, a little bit of your time, like I said. And yeah, at least see how much it's going to cost you. I mean, you'll be in disbelief, I promise you. Back to the show.
Wow. Okay. And you're a family man, so you got kids.
That's right. That's right. Wow. I got 2 small kids. I only really tour the southeast right now. Southeast, northeast. I don't go too far west. I don't go too far if I've got like my territory right now, right? So as long as I can get home in 4 hours, which I know is the least punk rock answer ever.
So and that's via car. So it seems like you travel. You'll drive to the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'll fly if I can make the money work, right? Like the beauty of a car if I fly to Ohio and I fly home from Ohio, I've only worked Ohio. If I drive to Ohio, I can work Tennessee, I can work Virginia, I can work Georgia, or not Georgia, but I can work my way over to Ohio.
Right.
And then, and I'm awful at geography. I think that's the right route. The plane really costs you money at the end of the day because there's no way to put connective tissue to where you're going.
It makes sense.
Or if you drive, I can work my way Virginia, Georgia, Florida, and then back a completely different way and work different towns on the way home.
That's cool. That's really cool. Go ahead, Nishant. I'll pass it to you. If you got
I thought let's hop into comedies. Like, when was the first time you went on stage?
I guess I've got a few different origin stories. The first time I ever did stand up, I would have been probably young, like really young. Like, I don't remember how young. Still going to the beach with my parents young. And I went to this club in South Carolina, and it's a full circle moment because I've headlined for them now as an adult, and I don't think they knew that I was a kid, just because I've always had gray hair. No, I've always been a talker, so I think I might have told them I was 18 when I was either 15 or 16, and they gave me a week. They let me go up and they gave me a guest spot on the first show, like that Monday. And I did well enough that they were like, come back every day this week if you want to, and we'll give you $50. And I was like, cool, I'll do it. And I came back every day that week, and they paid me
50 per show?
And I was 15 or 16
per
so
show.
Yeah. That was the first time I ever did it.
That's cool.
And it's weird. I've got one of those. I can remember almost everything, and the jokes were not good. I remember that because why would they have been? I was freaking a kid. But there was one thing that would get a laugh every night, and it was Stone Cold Steve Austin as a weatherman. And it's so stupid, and it's just such a dumb premise. But there was something about everybody that wanted to know the weather, and then getting told that they could, kiss my ass as Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was that's one of the things I remember is just talking smack to the audience as a 16-year-old whose voice could in no way, shape, or form have been deep enough to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Did they scream back saying what?
Yes, yeah. That's how long ago this was. This was pre-what?
Wow.
Yeah. It was back when before he broke his neck, and he was still active. Like, this would have been probably in Rock Austin 1-2 time period before he came back as general manager and started the what chant.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got who were some of your comedy inspirations?
Dude, I grew up in the 90s, man. So like my inspirations were Martin Lawrence and Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy. But I found Eddie Murphy later. I found Richard Pryor later. I loved Andy Kaufman. I loved the language. Like I loved the rhythm of Martin Lawrence because he could just the way he enunciated and the way he talked like a real person. And the same with Rock. Like you don't feel like you're being told a joke. You feel like you're being told a story, right? And Steve Martin, I loved him as a kid because he was just a goofball, like a grown man doing the kind of material he was doing was just brilliant. It was just so wacky that you could see how over the top Jim Carrey, over the top combined with that ability to storytell. Those are my favorite people. So I loved Martin Lawrence because he could tell that story and he just had that badassery to him. I love Jim Carrey just because he was a walking cartoon and he was able to get over some really ridiculous material through his facial expressions and through his animation in his body. So those were sort of my guys, which is a weird combo, Jim Carrey and Martin Lawrence.
Yeah. No, I and you know, one thing about that, I noticed that you know, when you see the evolution of these guys when they perform in smaller rooms to when, you know, they do these arena shows, right? It's just
It's different.
Yeah, it's real different.
When you work a large crowd, you've got to like a small crowd, you can have immediacy. Like if you're working a room of like 100, 150 people, you can, it's like a family. Like you're literally, you're up there and you can tell that you're affecting everybody in the room. When you work a theater or you work a auditorium or you work like a venue where it's over 500 people, there's a time delay. If you go too fast, the people in the back don't get it in time. So if you hit the joke and the front row gets it, watch Kevin Hart do the football arena. It might not be his best work, you know, but look at how he was having to perform. He was having to have an entire audience have a good time. Because I've heard people use this argument that like his timing is way off in that special. And I was like, his timing wasn't off. His timing was off for the viewer at home, but his timing was right where it needed to be for the people that were in the nosebleeds of a football stadium that he wanted to make sure that they got their money's worth. At the end of the day, you're a showman, right? He wanted to make sure that those people went home happy, and he did that by giving it an extra beat before he went to the next thing.
Wow.
If anything, he wasn't off. The dude that edited the special was off.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that. That's that's something that I don't think we could have picked up on unless you peeled the veil back a little bit and showed us that. So that's really cool.
Well, it's like anything, right? You got to get your 30,000 hours. Like there are, and now that I'm on, now that I'm, 40, I look at it and I see myself doing the thing that, in comedy, don't give advice unless you're asked. Like it's a very presumptuous thing to be like, here's a tag. Now, if like frickin' Jerry Seinfeld walks up and goes, that was good, here's a tag, take the tag. But if it's like you're just on, because you want to be one of the boys, you don't want to be seen as anything other than just another comic. You don't want to be acted any different around, just be a comic. And there's nothing more annoying than when you get off stage and somebody's like, hey, that last joke, what if you were to say stupid instead of motherfucker? Wouldn't that be, maybe just try stupid next time? And you're like, no, what go get out of here. What are you talking about? So one of the things, I have to bite my tongue a lot of times where I'll be on a show and we'll be in the middle of like nowhere, middle of nowhere. Let's just call it that. I won't even say a state. And the first thing that the kid opening for me will do is he'll go up and he'll go, man, it sucks being in nowhere. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Why? They came here to like you. Why would you crap on them as soon as you got on stage? They come, you have 2 minutes to take them from you have my attention to we like and love you. And you just got rid of all of that in 10 seconds. So like little things where just read, and you don't know that. You don't know that because it's all centered around you, right?
Right.
To be successful, it has to be centered around you. So it takes you a while to get out of the mindset that while it's about you, it's also about the crowd. It's also like it's a symbiotic relationship. You can't have your show if you don't have people at the show. You just be that dude that's funny at parties who everybody says should go do stand-up. And guess what? None of those people should go do stand-up. Not one person that's ever been told at a corporate function that you should do stand-up. Oh my God, you are so witty. That person should not do stand-up. That person's right where they need to be, being witty at the corporate table. And that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a slight. It's just you get up there and tell that funny thing that Susan did in accounting last Thursday to a group of 40 people trying to forget the fact that they just left a job they don't like to come see you, take their minds off of that job. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. It's more romantic than that. You've got to take it up a notch.
No, have you heard about the comedian Veer Das?
Who's that?
Veer Das?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, so he's an international comic from India and he does his comedy in English. And I think he's currently touring in the US right now.
Oh, I'll have to look him up. Say his name one more
Yes.
time. I'll look him up.
VIR Veer Das, DAS.
Oh yeah, there he is. Oh, dude, he's taking over right now.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I've seen his posters.
Okay.
I've seen his social media posters.
Mhm.
I think probably one of the most famous Indian comics would be Aziz, right? Aziz Ansari. I know he grew up in South Carolina, but
I would say I would probably give that title to Russell Peters.
oh, of course, yeah. It would definitely be Russell Peters. Sorry, I still see everything through a New York lens, and I was able to see Aziz literally take over the world. He was one of those cats where it was like he was from the South, I was from the South, and to see him go and start doing things at the level that he got to, it was like, holy crap! If that dude was able to go from middle of nowhere South Carolina to world stage, then it's possible, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad he was able to get out of that BS of a scandal that happened. If you remember, just
he answered it honestly. He looked at the situation and he spoke his truth, and then he spoke to what he learned from it. And I thought it was commendable that he didn't hide from it. He's like, yeah, this is what happened, and here's where I was wrong, and here's what I can take away from that. And I think if you'll just look at the scenario and not try to diminish your part in what happened, and move on from it, listen, learn, and move on, because that's another thing. You can't dwell in it either. Once it's had its moment and you've learned, and there's adequate and that's where I think people don't like that answer, right? Because people want there to be a definitive time frame. You should feel bad for 18 years, or you should feel bad forever. It's a shade of gray. There's no definitive answer for when a bad scenario or a bad moment in your life. There's no set number for how long you have to pay for it. Unless you do something really wrong, in which case the judicial system will tell you exactly how long you have to pay for it. You go to jail, son.
Yeah, no, certainly. Deshaun, do you got any other questions? Because I got a few, and I'm gonna try to rapid fire them. But
I like rapid fire.
Yeah.
How does it feel when a joke completely bombs? How do you recover from that?
No, that's a good one. You learn from it. If you've been doing it for a minute, knock on wood, because it can still happen every time. One of my favorite moments was, if you ever watched the documentary Comedian with Jerry Seinfeld, it shows Jerry Seinfeld, the Michael Jordan of 90s comedy, right? It shows him standing up new material. It shows him building a new act after he had put his last persona to bed. And he eats it a lot. Like, there's moments where you see Seinfeld having a bad game. You see him dying on stage, and the jokes are not. He even says in the documentary, this wasn't a good night, and I think that puts the right face on it. That, like, even Jordan had bad nights. The thing is, the longer you're in it, the more you learn how to recover from the bad. Like, there's something that in your head is the funniest thing you've ever thought of, and you've got to try that out. And now you get better the longer you go. You get closer to what you know your voice, and you get closer to knowing what will work and what won't work. But there's still going to be that thing where you thought this was the greatest thing in the world, and you get up there and it's not what they want. And it might even, and don't give up on it. It's the same with whiskey. Just because they didn't like it tonight doesn't mean they won't like it tomorrow night. Maybe you put it in the wrong place. Maybe you should never start out with it. Never start out with the thing that's brand new, because that's for you. That's not for them. You got to get them to like you. So put it somewhere that's behind something that you know works, and then have something right behind it that if it doesn't work, you can pull yourself out and rewrite the train, and keep going. If you want a bomb story, yeah, I've got a bomb story for you.
That's what I was gonna do. I think that's what he was gonna ask.
Everybody likes a train wreck.
Yeah.
I remember I can't remember how long ago it was. I just remember that I had gone, the beauty of being busy, and this is just how it happens sometimes. I didn't know that I had a show at 8:00, and I found, my calendar is what it is. And I get the thing from the promoter going, can't wait to see you tonight. And I'm like, oh, good. Because I can't see. I have something wrong with my eye, and I literally can't see. So I go to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor has to basically finger blast my eyeball to get whatever was lodged in my left eye out of my left eye, which is a terrifying thing. Two gigantic people, like orderlies from an insane asylum, they come and they basically before the guy starts, he's like, okay, we're just going to get you comfortable. Anytime an adult tells another adult that they're going to get them comfortable, something really bad is about to happen. And it's like, okay, so by comfortable, do you mean these two Tyrannosaurus Rex gentlemen are just going to keep me from moving? Is that what comfort? Because my comfort level is not where I would put comfort if I knew what comfort was. And then the next thing you know, he's like knuckle deep in my ocular socket and gets the thing out of there, and then gives me eye drops for both eyes, because the right eye was upset that the left eye was having such a hard day. So he gave me drops for both of them. And then I had to go do a show. So I was performing for a group of blurry blobs in front of me, like you, sir. That wasn't a dude. Or madam. Like, nope, that's a coat rack. So the crowd still had a good time, but I knew for a fact that it wasn't my best show, because I was Al Pacinoing my way through the set, just hoping that I was standing in the right place and looking in the right direction.
Wow.
That's one of the worst ones I can think of, just because it just like, 6:00, you're getting manhandled by Dr. Gary, because optometrist and dentist and everybody that's not like a medical doctor, for some reason they try to make themselves fun. It's like, no, just be Dr. Peters. You don't have to be Dr. Larry. Dr. Larry doesn't sound like a real doctor. He sounds like a dude you met on OnlyFans who's pretending to be a doctor, so you'll let him see your feet. That's what Dr. Larry sounds like. Be a grown-up.
Wow. What did they take out of your eye? What was it? What was that?
Oh, dude, it was like a gigantic string, like from, I guess, sleeping in hotels, like a piece of not thinner than string. You think string, you think like a big thick piece of yarn, but like what looks like a frayed pillowcase. And I mean, he was just linguining that thing out of there too. He's like, well, here's the problem. It's gotten wrapped around your eye. And I was like, yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I still don't appreciate the two velociraptors behind me keeping me from moving, though.
Wow.
Ask me a question and I'll tell you no lies.
Yeah,
it doesn't always work to my benefit. It gets me in trouble.
You like the show Impractical Jokers?
I've met a couple of them. I've honestly never watched it. Okay. Impractical Jokers, I get the concept. I love a good practical joke. Back in college, I think one of the best practical jokes I ever saw, and this is so gross. So if you don't like gross, then sorry, you asked. My dudes are primarily gross. Can we agree on that? Yeah. Like as a whole, dudes can be very gross.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, as a joke, my friend Joey Durham, we'll use his real name. Why not? He did it. And Joey took a poop in a cup and he put it under our friend Shandy Klein's bed. And Shandy couldn't find it for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't find it until he moved out and he found a cup with a little piece of dried poop in it. And he moved to New Mexico. And we all thought that was the end of the story. We were like, Joey, you got him. Cut to about 6 months later, where pre-Amazon, mail was a big deal. Do you remember when mail was a big deal, where you would get a package, and especially in college, you never got mail. You never, like, if you got mail, your mom sent you like clothes on your birthday because she was worried you didn't have anything to wear. That was the only present you ever got. So Joey gets this gigantic box in the mail, and we're all like, "Oh, what is this? This is amazing! A big box!" And we all crowd around to see what Joey has got. And Shandy has left a Shandy loaf in that box and mailed it to Joey Durham from New Mexico to North Carolina. Full circle. We got his receipt, and Shandy won. Shandy won the day. 100% true story. Not even the names have been changed. I think Shandy's back in town now, too. I wonder if he remembers that. I'm sure he remembers that. You don't go through the process of pooping in a box and then taking it to the post office, them asking you, is there anything dangerous in this box? And you're like, well, not dangerous, but
wow. Oh man. Okay.
So that's a good.
Yeah, that's
yes.
That's a good ending.
That was good. So just to wrap this up, I wanted to kind of piggyback on a point that you made, about those people in the corporate spaces where they think they can, be funny and stuff like that. So, you see oftentimes that also translate on social media. You got people that can make funny like skits on social media, but then they get gassed up by the amount of followers they have and say, hey, why don't we go, and do a little, comedy run and go to these different sellers and these different venues and start telling jokes and do stand-up, and they bomb, right? They do really, really bad. So I think an example of that would be I know, Bobby Altoff, she canceled her tour because everyone gassed her head up saying that she could do that, and then she ended up realizing prematurely that she couldn't. So I guess
it's a muscle. It's like anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just goes to show of all the. I mean, I think it shows how multifaceted comedy is, in the sense that you could be funny in sketch comedy, you could be funny in improv, or you could be funny on doing stand up or doing skits, but that doesn't mean that you could do the others as well, right? And there are people that do the others well, but not, So, what your thoughts on that? I guess
it's a muscle. She did the hardest part, which was not the hardest part. The hardest part's the show, but equal to doing the show is getting people to come to the show. So kudos to her for having that many people that wanted to come see her, and keep it up, because with that many people and that many eyes on her, she'll get an act together. And then when she comes back, I mean, look, Stormy Daniels is doing freaking stand up right now. I'm sure her first set was nothing more than making fun of her predicament, Right. But she had the second thing. She had the eyes on her. She had the people willing to pay. I don't necessarily like it when you see like T.I. doing comedy. It's like, oh, great. So you're going to leave paper trails and comedy. Those are the things that you're known for. Awesome. Great for me, because now everybody, when T.I. starts getting paid, he's taking your spot. It's just like wrestling. There's only so many spots. And but you can't hate the hustle. If you're gonna hate the hustle, then you're gonna have to hate it all, because that's all the game is. To get good, you have to hustle. And he used name recognition to get on stage, and he built himself an act up, and people go see him. And I've heard he's not half bad. So I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it, but I would quote, I think maybe Mark Maron, who said, Brad Pitt can go on stage and he'll get the same 2 minutes as everybody else. He'll get 2 minutes of people going, hey, that's Brad Pitt. And then after those 2 minutes, they're going to go, Brad Pitt's not funny.
So I saw Tip live, and I'm a rap purist. I'm a huge hip hop head. I mean, like, oh my goodness, it's the allure for me was to see a rap legend on stage for me, right? But also I do, and I love comedy. I love comedy a lot. I frequent the Helium Comedy Club Galleria, which I was going to ask you again. Like, have you done St. Louis before? I mean,
I've not done St. Louis, but I've done Raleigh. They're owned by the same club, Raleigh and Philly. Helium. just world class. Like I can't say enough good things about Helium. The
Oh, that's
entire
cool.
organization is just awesome.
Gotcha. So you've never done a show here in St. Louis?
I've never done St. Louis. No.
Wow, man, we gotta try to make that happen some way
Hey,
somehow.
I'll
man.
be there. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. I know some of the organizers here, so we'll see if we can. I'll holler at you on Instagram. We'll see.
Yeah, let me know, man. I'm on week 6 of sold out shows. So
Wow.
we have been sold out. We've been sold out to the point that we've either had to turn people away or bring more chairs in to get it to finish the room. So
That's lovely. That's really cool to hear, man.
yeah, it's been a fun run this year. This go around. The 2026 has been awesome so far. You forget that it's only March.
Right. No, seriously.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. So I'll go ahead and I know some folks at the Funny Bone, so that might we'll see if we could figure something out there. But
Funny Bone as well. They're freaking one of the first places that started booking me on the road was the Funny Bone.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, no, that'd be really cool to see. And then what was I gonna say?
Rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire. No, I guess that was the last piece. Essentially, seeing that clips are a big thing. People like have to build their career off clips now, right? Stand-up comics have to do they have to record themselves and then throw the fat caption text on it and try to capture a moment, right? Do you find that part kind of frustrating or?
Well, it's why you see so many people posting crowd work videos. Because if you're posting crowd work, you're not eating into your time. Like, why give it away for free? I understand it, and I know the necessity. I know why you have to do it. But if you've crafted an hour together, it's a lot easier to show a video of you shutting down that guy in Hoboken that was being a prick and garnering the love and attention of people for your quickness on your feet. But that's also not why you're doing it. You're doing it because that is a commoditized form of entertainment. That used to be hack. It used to be hack to just do crowd work. And I'm not saying it still is. I'm just saying back when I started, if you relied solely on crowd work, it made other comics think you didn't have an act. So in New York, and again, this is not the case now. Art evolves. We've established that. Art grows. That's what makes it art. But back when I was coming up, if you went out and you did a whole set of like, where are you from? Because the only reason you ask where you're from is so somebody can talk to you and hopefully give you an answer that you can riff on. So if you go and you say something to the crowd and the crowd gives you something, you've also opened up that floodgates. Now it works both ways. You've taught them they can talk to you. Right. So if you've taught them that they can talk to you and they're drinking, there's a good chance somebody's going to say something wacky that you can record, and you're a professional. So when they say, blah, 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 you can be like, what? My mother? What? And then you go off to the races on whatever he said. And that's a 5 million like scenario. So I get it. But that's why you see that, is so that they don't have to eat into their hour.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Come see me, because you might see me talk to somebody at the club like I talked to the guy on the video that you liked. And you get to see my hour that I've put my freaking heart and soul into. So it's like just another marketing tool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, certainly. Wow.
Hi again. I know you're pissed off looking at me or Rana or both of us trying to sell life insurance or just trying to sell iCover direct to you. But let me be honest. It's the best thing you can do in 2026. Get a life insurance policy for your loved ones right now. Protect their future for any mishaps in the future. You have no idea, right? Life is unexpected. So go to iCoverdirect.com, answer a few medical questions, answer a few personal questions, and you'll have a life insurance policy in just 5 minutes. You don't have to give any medical exams. You can ignore all the documents, all the paperwork, everything, and no agents, right? Just you, your phone, and your loved ones. And back to the show.
Wow.
And I'm not hating on it. Anything that helps in your marketing of yourself, do it. That's why you'll see DJ Kitty Cat headlining at your local Chuckle Hut, because DJ Kitty Cat makes those kitties dance, and he has 1 billion followers. So the club owner sees 1 billion followers. They hope that there's enough freaking kitty cat fans out there to come support him for a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Guess what? Rarely is that the case. Rarely does 1 billion likes on anything transfer to people coming to see you, because there's 1 billion likes. How many of those likes are centralized to Bristol, Tennessee? Oh, 7. You know what I mean? It's a big world, the internet. And the internet can have 1 billion, but the people that saw you on tour might not be a part of that billion.
Yeah.
And then the 7 people that are there, they don't know what DJ Kitty Cat is. They're hoping for a show. That's why it doesn't always work.
Wow.
I'm not hating on DJ Kizzle. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's why it works that way.
Yeah. The Chuckle Hut, man. That's fun.
That's hack. That's old hack. Chuckle Hut's just what we've all, because back in the 80s, everything had some wacky, funny name. And Chuckle Hut's just one of the funniest that all of us like. It's just something that you've heard everybody and their brother call something a Chuckle Hut.
That's funny.
Enough so that now if I don't like you, I call you a Chuckle Hut.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, man. Wow, man, we appreciate your time. I know we went a little bit over the limit.
Oh, you're good, buddy.
But we appreciate it. Nishant, do you have any last words, Nishant? Do you
any quotes or any like words of wisdom for the upcoming comedians?
Words of wisdom would be don't quit. Jim Gaffigan was very nice to me when I was starting out, and he would always, I would email him and he would email me back, just don't quit. So I'd say words of wisdom is just don't quit. And in true comedy fashion, I opened for him years after that. And I told him that story and he goes, okay. Had no clue, but that's what makes him a good person, right? He is helping me. He had no clue who he was. Didn't even know he was helping me as much as he was. He's just doing what was right for the business.
Wow. I love that.
Yep.
Man, dude, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
It was a blast, guys. I appreciate you guys inviting me on. And I wish you both nothing but success. This is a fun format.
Yeah, no, thank you. That all props go to Nishant. He's the one who keeps me. I've been utilizing my my connections here, and I invite the people that I've met before that I've came cross paths with. But Nishant is from all the way over there across the world. He's just shooting these emails out, following people. He's always on social media, so he sees. He saw your content. He liked it. He was sharing it with me. He was like, "Man, I'd really like to invite him on the podcast." And I'm like, "Heck, go for it." And he's like, "All right." And then thank you so much for responding. And Nishant, thank you so much for taking that chance and for you to respond to that. That means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the invite, guys. Head out, find yourself a nice bottle of en route whiskey, and take a sip and let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's right. And what were the socials you want to shout out the socials that you got?
Jesse Jones Comedy and Bourbon Showdown. Those are my 2 avenues. You can find all things comedy at Jesse Jones Comedy, jessejonesonline.com, and all things whiskey, bourbonshowdown.com, Bourbon Showdown on Insta, on Twitter, on TikTok, on all the things. And the Bourbon Showdown drops every week. We're about to have our big season finale where we talk to the main people at Buffalo Trace. We go to the Blanton's mansion and we sit down. We drink through the entire BTAC collection. It's a damn good time with some damn good whiskey.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. We don't even drink, but I think we're gonna have to check that out anyway.
There's a lot of good stories shared about the history of the brand, and even if you don't enjoy whiskey, it's still that piece of history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the spirits are great, and don't get me wrong, I love the spirits, but the history behind it, I think, is also, it encapsulates that moment in time where agriculture and commerce meet. And it really is. It's like fine wine. It's like elevated dining is what I would equate it to, because it's like that heightened experience that you would hope for when you go to your favorite restaurant. If they don't have a good back bar, then I'm probably leaving without ordering.
That's cool. I love that, man. Well, shoot, you gave us a lot of tidbits. Gave us a lot of words of wisdom. Gave us a lot of quotes. we're gonna live with that, rest with that, and we appreciate you so much for your time. And we'll stay engaged with you on social media, man. So thank you so much.
Please do. Have a
All
great
right.
day, guys.